Hello, this is Hiren Vyas and welcome to my course Java Database Connectivity with MySQL using JDBC. And in this course you will learn how to create Java project using NetBeans IDE, how to create database and table in MySQL database, and how to execute, insert, update, delete and select queries by exploring JDBC API. So let's get started. Now let's set up our computer for development. For that we require Java Development Kit and Java Runtime Environment to develop and execute our Java programs, and you can download it from the following link. Second software we require is Apache NetBeans, which is in Java IDE, and we will require Apache XAMPP, which contains our MySQL. Now in case if you don't know how to download it and install them, I have created one separate video on my YouTube channel. You can surf YouTube and type Hiren Vyas and you will find this channel, and you will find all the related videos. Hello everyone. Now let's explore JDBC API in brief. Here JDBC stands for Java Database Connectivity, and using JDBC API we can access data from any relational database like Oracle and MySQL. It means JDBC API allows us to write an application that sends SQL statement, queries, to these relational databases and allows to retrieve and process the records and data. Now as we know, Java is a platform independent, and this JDBC API is written in Java. It means it works on any computer. Now this JDBC API consists of two packages. First one is java.sql. Second one is javax.sql, and you will get both packages when you download the API. Now let's have a look at important classes and interfaces available in JDBC API. The first one is Driver Manager class. Now this class is responsible for loading and registering the appropriate driver for database. In example, we can see class.forName, where class is the class name and forName is the static method of that class, and it accepts one parameter which is of string type, and it represents our database driver name. Now we have connection interface. Now this interface represents a connection or a session with the database. As you can see, getConnection method accepts one string parameter, and this method belongs to Driver Manager class, and it returns connection object. So this method will establish a connection to a specific database and will return the connection object. Now don't worry about this entire string, we will discuss it later on. After establishing the connection, there must be some way to execute queries, and there are three ways of executing a query: a standard statement, prepared statement and callable statement. To execute standard SQL statement, we have simple statement interface which executes static queries or static SQLs. Then we have prepared interface to execute pre-compiled queries or pre-compiled SQL statements. Then we have callable statement which is used to execute stored procedure. Same way we have result set interface which represents result set object, and it is nothing but a cursor which holds SQL query output generated by our query. Then we have SQL exception class to handle any exception, SQL exception raised during our JDBC program. And there are long list of classes and interfaces available in this API, but we are focusing on the specific class and interfaces only. Here I have given one table which represents driver name and connection string for MySQL and Oracle.
Hello everyone. Now let's see how to create database and table in MySQL database. For that, first of all, we will start the XAMPP. Now let me launch control panel. Here we will start Apache server and MySQL. As you can see here, port number for MySQL is 3306. You can change it from here, right? Or you can search for this port number and you can replace its value. Now directly click on admin. So it will open our admin panel, and here we have list of databases. Let me create new database, or you can just surf through tab and you can create new database over here, right? Let's say employee. And just click on create. As you can see, our database has been created. Now it is asking us for table, right? So let me say EMP. EMP is our table name, and here we will assign column numbers, means total number of columns we want in our EMP table. You can change it later on also. You can add and you can remove of. Now let me say 3 and just click on go. Now here just assign the name. Let's say EMP underscore ID for the employee ID. Let's say EMP underscore name for the employee name, and let's say EMP underscore cell for salary. Choose the data type. ID should be integer. Employee name, keep it to text. Employee salary, you can keep it to double or float, but we will assign whole value. We are going to assign whole value, so let's keep it to integer. Assign the length, let's say 4. Employee name, let's say 20, and salary, let's say 5, right? Now we want our employee ID auto incremented, right? So I will check this AI, and as you can see here, primary key will be applied, right? So now you don't need to assign anything else. We will just click on save, and our table has been created. This is the structure for our table. Let me check by inserting one record. Our employee ID will be auto incremented, so let me just enter my name and let me assign some salary and just click on go. As you can see, one row inserted, and let me click on the browse tab, and you can see ID is 1, hidden VIAs and 5000. So this way we can create table and database. If you want to create one more table, you can just click on new over here and you can follow the same step to create a new table. Hello everyone, in this video we will see how to create a simple Java project in NetBeans IDE. So let me start NetBeans IDE. Just launch the NetBeans. For the first time it may take some time. Be patient. So this is NetBeans IDE welcome screen. I have actually disabled it. You might face it for the first time, so you can disable it. Here in the Project Explorer tab, you can right click and select new project, and then you can choose the project you want to create, or you can go to the file menu and you can choose new project, or we have toolbar. You can directly click on that icon and you will have list of projects. From here choose this Java application is already selected, right? So you don't need to select it, just choose Java. Here click on the next, and for the first time it will active the Java SE platform. Now it is asking for our application name. Let's say JDBC connection, JDBC_connection. You can change location by clicking on browse, and here by default it will create one class with JDBC_connection. Okay, you can change it. I don't want to change it, but if you want you can. So just click on the finish, and as you can see we have one template. Here we have package name, here we have class name, JDBC connection, as you can see, and here we have our epic main method. We can write down code over here for the Java. Let's check it out. Say out, say hello from Java, and you can right click and run it, or you can just use shortcut key Shift X6 to run it. And as you can see, our output is there in output window. So this way you can create a simple Java project. Now if you want to create one new class, you can just click on right click on that package and new, then you can select any class you want to create. If you want to create new package, move one directory above, just right click and select Java package, and you will have another package. So this way we can create one new Java project in Apache NetBeans. Hello everyone, in this video we will see how to establish a connection with MySQL. So in a previous video we have created this project in NetBeans, and we are going to establish our connection over here only. But before we begin, we need to understand the basic steps for establishing the connection, and those steps are: first we will load the appropriate driver, then we will establish the connection with database, then we will prepare the statement, we will create statement, then with the help of statement we will execute our SQL, that is our query, and we will process result. So these are the basic 5 steps you need to follow. So now here we are going to just establish the connection. We are not supposed to execute query and process the result. So we will declare one connection reference. Now if you remember, our all the required classes and interfaces belong to java.sql package. So we will select it by pressing the enter key. And as you can see, the connection interface has been imported. Now let me assign the reference name and initialize it to null. Now first of all, let me write try and catch to handle exceptions. Here I am simply writing exceptions because it is the superclass for all the exceptions. So let's say here you can use get message. I prefer toString, so it will print appropriate exception message. Now if you remember, our first step is to load the driver. Okay, so let me load driver. For the loading the driver, we have class use control space dot forName method and pass driver name. For MySQL, our driver name is com.mysql.jdbc.driver. Here D is capital one. Now second step is to establish connection. So we have connection reference over here. We are going to use it. Say con is equal to driver. Let's use control space for the suggestion, and we have driver manager class from the java.sql package. Select it. It has one get connection method. Use it, and it has 3 parameters. Okay, first parameter is connection string, second parameter is username for the database. Okay, for the MySQL database, generally username is root and password should be empty, but here in a connection string we will write down JDBC, then MySQL / server name, that is our local host, port number, that is 3306 / database name. Our database name is employees. Okay, So say employees. Don't forget to add semicolon. Now our connection string is completed, and let's run this. You can use shortcut, that is Shift X6. Okay, and it's throwing an exception. As you can see, exception is class not found. So we need to add jar file. So here in a library, right click, add jar file, and you will have MySQL connector. If you don't know the location, don't worry, I'm showing you. From the C drive, move to the program files where you have installed NetBeans. Then go to the IDE and go to the modules, and in modules there is a ext and there is MySQL connector jar. If you don't this jar file over here, then just download it and open it. So as you can see, our jar file is there and it contains a list of packages. So now let me try to run it, and as you can see, there is no exception. It means we have established connection with database successfully. Now what else you can do is surf through this service tab, select this databases, just right click on it, select new connection. From the list, select SQL, our JConnector driver, then just click on next, and as you can see here we have localhost, that is our server name, our port number is also there, database name is there MySQL. You can change it to employees, username is root and password is empty as usual. Now you can test this connection just by clicking on test connection, and you can see connection. You can just copy this connection string and you can paste it over here. It will also works. So in the next video we will see how to insert record. Hello everyone. In this video we will see how to insert record in a MySQL database. I hope you remember all the connectivity steps. If not, then let me remind you once again. Just load the driver, establish the connection, create statement, execute SQL, and process the result. So in a previous video we have connected our Java to MySQL, and now in this video we are going to execute query. So this is for connection, right? Now we have to declare one more reference, that is statement. Let me use control space and suggestion will be there. We supposed to use java.sql. Let's say st. Let me initialize it to null. Now creating statement, let me write st is equal to con, that is our connection reference, con dot create statement. Now this method allow us to create statement object, and we will execute our query with the help of statement object, that is st object. So I will write integer I is equal to st dot execute update. Now this execute update method will allow us to insert, update and delete records. In double inverted comma, I will simply write insert query. So let's say insert into. Okay. Our table name is EMP. So let's say EMP. List out all the fields except employee ID because it is auto incremented. So let's say EMP underscore name and EMP underscore salary. So say EMP underscore name comma EMP underscore salary, and values you want to enter. For example, let's say Harsh, and let's say salary 8,000. Here employee name is text, that's why we have to put single quote, and employee salary is a numeric value. Now let me check whether our record is inserted or not. So I will write if I is greater than 0. Why greater than 0? Because execute update method will return an integer value. Okay, that integer value represents total number of rows affected in a table. So at present moment we have inserted a single record, so here value will be 1, that is greater than 0. So I will simply write record has been added, else let's say something went wrong. Now let me run this and let's check whether it's working or not. So I will just right click and run this program, and as you can see we have message record has been inserted. Let's verify it. Just refresh this, and as you can see our second record has been inserted. You can have dynamic values over here. Here these values are static. You can use input output stream class, or you can use scanner class to fetch the values from user. For example, let's say scan is equal to new scanner class, and let me say system.in. Now I need to take two variables, that is string name and let's say integer salary. Name is equal to, let's say, scan dot next. This will fetch string value. Okay, enter employee name, and then we will assign this value to name variable. Same way we will ask user for employee salary, and let's say cell is equal to scan dot next int method, because we are supposed to fetch integer value, right? And here we will change this query. Okay, here rather than hers, we will write variable name, that is name, and variable name salary rather than its value. But as you can see, it is interpreting it as a string, not as a variable. So we need to do concatenation. So let's do it. And now let me run this again. Enter employee name, say Tux. Enter employee salary, let's say 7,000. And as you can see, record has been inserted. Let me verify it over here. And yes, it is working. So this way we can insert record in a MySQL database using Java.
Hello everyone. In this video, we will see how to delete records from table.
So here we have previous program for inserting a new record. We have used scanner class to fetch employee name and employee salary. Now we are supposed to delete record based on ID. So we don't need this name and salary. And second thing, here our query will be changed. Rather than insert, we will write down delete query. So first of all, let me just remove this variable and let's say integer ID. Let me initialize it to 0, and simply we will fetch this ID from the user. And let me say enter employee ID. So now we will have ID in this ID variable, and we need to change this query to. So let me just remove this and let me write delete from table name, that is XAMPP. Now let me assign some criteria, otherwise it will delete all the records available in XAMPP table. So let's say delete from XAMPP, where column name, that is ID. Let me verify it. Here our column name is employee underscore ID, right? So we will just write down where XAMPP underscore ID is equal to. Now this ID variable is holding our value, so we will concatenate it. That's a plus ID. Because it's integer, we don't need to put single quote, right? This query will work. And let me change this message, record has been deleted. As you know, this method will return an integer value. And now let me run this. Suppose we want to delete this second record, whose name is Harsh. So let me just run this, and as you can see, it is asking for ID. Let me enter 2, and as you can see, the message record has been deleted. Now we will verify it. Let me just refresh this, and as you can see, our record has been deleted. And suppose if we don't pass any criteria, if we don't specify any criteria, then it will delete all the records. So we also don't need this. So now let me run this. Record has been deleted, and let me just refresh this. As you can see, all the records are just gone. Okay, so be careful whenever you write down such queries. So this way we can delete record from our table.
Hello everyone. In this video we will see how to update records in table. This is our previous program and we have deleted all the records from EMP table. Now we will update record based on employee ID. So we are going to read employee ID from the user, and suppose we want to update employee name. So we will declare one string variable, let's say name, for employee name and we will fetch employee name from the user. So just let me copy this and paste it. Let me say enter new employee name, and let me assign it to name, and we will use next method of scanner class, which is used to read string. Now we have employee ID in ID variable and we have new employee name in name variable. And let me just update this query. Let me write update table name, that is EMP, set. Let me see the field name, that is EMP name. So update EMP set EMP underscore name is equal to, because it is string, so we need to concatenate it. So we EMP name double quote plus plus, and we'll put single quote and single quote, and here variable name, that is name. Where EMP, let me check the, yes, EMP ID. So where you can write it in small case also, EMP ID is equal to, because it's numeric, so we don't need to put single quote, and let me say ID concatenate. So this way we will form our query. Query is update EMP table, set EMP name is equal to new name that we will assign to this specific ID. You can change this query, you can update its salary also, right? And we will execute this query. First of all, let me change the message, record has been updated. Right now here, suppose we want to change employee ID 5's name, that is Tom. We want to change it to Tommy, right? So just execute it. So now it is asking for ID, and Tom's ID is 5, so I will assign 5, and now it is asking for new name, so I will write down Tommy rather than Tom, and just press enter, and there is some you have error skills, check the manual correspondence. So here EMP ID, here we missed the where clause, and let me say where EMP IDs. Now let me run it again. Say employee ID 5, and let's say Tommy. Let's say Tommy. Press enter, and as you can see, record has been updated. Now let's check it. Let me just refresh this.
and you can see Tom is replaced by Tommy. So this way you can update the records. You can also change salary. We can update the records.
Hello everyone. In this video we will see how to retrieve records from table. So in a previous video we have updated our records in table. Now let me just remove that code and let me say rs, that is our result set object, is equal to st.execute query. Now here, rather than execute update, we will use execute query method, because this method will return result set object, and that result set object contains all the records from particular table. So just let me write down query. Let's say select star from our table name, and our table name is EMP. So let's say EMP. Now this query will fetch all the records. Okay. So here first of all we have to create result set object. So just let me write down result set rs equal to null. Now it's fine. Now we will iterate loop and we will fetch each and every record from the result set. For that we will use while loop. Let's say while rs has a navigation method. Let's say next. So it will check for the next record. If it founds, loop will continue. So if there is a next record, then what will be the next step? The next step should be to fetch the records. So first of all we will just simply print down employee ID, and let's say rs dot get. Now see, rs has a get XXX method, that is get integer, get float, get byte, get string. So ID must be integer, right? So here we write int, get int, and column index, it says 1. Same way we will fetch employee name, so, and let me concatenate it, rs dot. Now employee name must be text or string, right? So let's say string. You can verify it from our table. Okay, you can just simply click on the structure and you will find the particular database. See, integer, text, integer, right? So here one more thing, you can specify column name also. Let's say emp underscore name. So in double inverted comma, let's say emp underscore name. So now let's fetch salary. Let's say employee salary, and again it's in integer. So let's say rs dot get int. As you can see, it is overloaded, right? You can either specify column name or you can specify column index, that is 1, 2, 3, whatever. So let's say 3, because second one is our employee name. So this way it will print all the records until loop iterates. And let me just print tests, and let's run this. Okay, forgot to put this line of code in a comment because it will ask employee ID and employee name. We don't need this, so just run this again. And as you can see, there are two records in our table, Kim and Tommy, and here we have to record Kim and Tommy, right? Or you can simply here write down column index. Both will work fine. So this way you can fetch the particular all the records. Sorry, if you want to fetch particular record, you need to change this select query. Of course, let's put where clause, where, let's say XAMPP ID, or let's say EID. Let me check the column name. It's XAMPP ID. So we will write XAMPP_ID is equal to, let me put some static value, let's say where XAMPP ID is 5. So we will get only one record of Tommy. So this way we can fetch the records from table.